I always ask, like, especially if it was someone's first time at TRE or what have you, but even the ones who have been every single year, I'm like, what was good for you? Why was it great? Or why will you come back in the future? And the answer is almost always because of the people that I met.
Welcome to Long Run Labs, a weekly podcast from the team behind For the Long Run, telling the stories of those running the outdoor industry where endurance and entrepreneurship meet. This episode is brought to you by Superfiliate, the platform that finally makes partnership marketing simple. I've used just about every affiliate and partner tool out there, and most are just not great. Too complicated, too expensive, and way too confusing. Superfiliate changes all of that. Setup takes minutes, tracking actually works, and payouts are clear and reliable. It's the one platform I recommend because it does just exactly what it's supposed to. If you're a brand looking to grow through partnerships, Superfiliate makes it easy to get partners genuinely excited to share your products. With co-branded landing pages, flexible rewards, and built-in tools that drive action and make reporting simple, it's partnership marketing done right. Skip the headaches and head to superfiliate.com. Mention this podcast and your first month's free. And welcome back. We have Christina Henderson joining on the Long Run Labs podcast. Christina and I spoke 2 years ago on For the Long Run on episode 290. So we talked a lot about Christina's journey as an athlete and runner and getting into the business of the outdoor industry. So shades of Long Run Labs back then, and we're diving fully in to the business of the outdoor industry and events and trade shows today. So Christina, welcome back.
Thanks, Jonathan. Very happy to be here.
I probably asked you this question on For the Long Run, but who is Christina?
Ooh, many things, of course, right? But, I think many people listening in here would probably know me as the director of the Running Event and of Switchback. I'm also a runner myself and, an avid outdoors person who is passionate about bringing people together.
And how did running find you?
Ooh, I love that question. I feel very grateful that running found me very young. So I would say I have been a runner my entire life. I was the fastest girl in elementary school and then I took running very seriously from a young age, middle school, high school. It then led me to where I went to college. And it has played a part in just about every big thing in my life, right? Many of my friends I have met through running. It's how I've built a community anywhere that I've been or lived. And now it's a big part of my career. And I feel so lucky for that.
Did you ever envision that the intersection of running and business would exist in the way that it does? Or did you even want it to?
I never could have imagined. I don't think I knew that this job existed, right? But again, I think it really, when I first saw the job posting for, the running event, it wasn't for the director, but it was, where I started. I read the job description and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is me, right? We get to be a part of the running industry. We get to gather people. I like to gather people and build community. And so the intersection of those two things, it's perfect. And, it's challenging at times and it's a big responsibility. And we have such an opportunity with it as well. So never in my wildest dreams would I think that I would be working in the running industry, getting to be a part of something that has shaped my life so much.
You're in a bit of a dream role based on all the things that you get to do and be responsible for. What was the evolution of getting there within the organization?
Yeah. So, how I came across the job, I would say is just pure luck. So the running event was started 20 years ago by a small company in New York. So in 2014, I was looking for a new job and I saw the listing again. I was like, this is for me. This is perfect. So, I took that job with this small company. I was kind of doing everything kind of like behind the scenes, right? So I was admin and organization and signage and just learning the ins and outs of event planning. I wasn't so externally facing at that time. And then in 2018, that small company that started and founded TRE sold it to a larger trade show company based out of Portland, Maine. So that company is diversified, and that's who I work with now. So in 2018, They sold TRE. I was kind of part of that deal. So they bought the event and they took me with it, essentially. And so suddenly I was the only person in the building who knew what the running event is and who the industry is made up of and the opportunities that we had. So it was a quick learning for me on just like, I kind of was more behind the scenes, and suddenly I was much more externally facing. And, since 2018 till now, we've seen tremendous growth in the running industry, as well as with the event. We went through COVID, we went through a lot with, events and running. And, we got to be there for all of it and learn and adapt and evolve and continue to be this gathering place and culture driving space for the running industry.
Can you talk more about the benefit of getting in at the ground floor versus, the captain's seat, as many people wish to be in?
I believe I learned so much by doing the behind the scenes and really understanding what goes into every piece of an event and really understanding the industry and their needs. I also got to know a lot of people, who make those decisions. I got to work with them and ask those questions and, work with them through challenges when something went wrong. And the relationships that I've built, it now sets me up for success today. And it really helps, now I have a team who manage many things, but I know what they're going through. I know the challenges because I've done it. And so I can support them in a much more authentic way than I would have otherwise.
I think there's so much power in that, and like understanding that and being able to relate to people who are doing the grunt work, having done it yourself versus, sitting up in the ivory tower and calling the shots. Maybe let's take a few steps back. For those who aren't familiar or who haven't been, what is the running event? What is Switchback? And how did those two events interact with each other and with the running and greater outdoor space?
Yeah, so I'll start with the running event. The running event, this will be our 19th TRE, and I use that interchangeably. So if anyone isn't aware, the running event is also TRE, and it is the business event for the running industry. So what that means is we bring together all sectors of the running industry into one space to learn, connect, and strengthen the industry. So at its core, there is a trade show floor. So brands come, they set up booths to show product for future years. So this year we have 360 brands who will be on the trade show floor showing product. And then the attendees are buyers or owners of retailers. So running stores, outdoor stores, footwear stores, as well as media. So they are coming to see that product. Retailers are looking at the product to see what they'll sell in their stores, and media is there to learn and promote the product. Additionally, there's a conference component. At the heart, the running event is there to support these retailers. So we provide education for them. These running stores are community builders all over the world. And so we want to support them in, running a small business, in connecting with their community, and through that, growing the sport of running. So the running event will take place in San Antonio this year. So it has been in Austin for many, many years. So this will be our first TRE in San Antonio, December 2nd through 4th. So we're 5 weeks out if anyone's counting. Switchback is new. So Switchback is an event dedicated to the outdoor industry. So I would say 2021, we really saw an influx of who we historically thought of as outdoor brands starting to come to the running event. We saw this crossover between running and outdoor. So as we started to see that happening, we said, okay, what is happening here? How can we better serve these brands and these retailers, these outdoor stores? Are they getting everything they need from TRE, or could we be doing something more for them? So we did this research study and through a third party, and the results came back and said, the outdoor industry could really use a dedicated event, kind of similar to what you do for running through TRE for the outdoor industry. So we kind of incubated that idea at the running event for a couple of years. So we had Switchback at TRE, the outdoor brands were in a specific area on the trade show floor. We invited outdoor retailers to come to TRE. And then we spun off to a standalone event this past June. So Switchback Spring was born. We held Switchback Spring in Nashville this previous June. We will have Switchback at TRE again this year. And then Switchback Spring next June in New Orleans.
Some fun cities for Switchback.
I know, right?
And I love Austin. So what was the reason for the move to San Antonio? Is it outgrowing the space? Is it growth of the conference overall? Did somebody have a bad taco that they just didn't want to return back to?
So if you were to go to Austin right now, the convention center is rubble. So they're renovating the entire thing. So they tore it all down and they will begin rebuilding it. So we found out a couple years ago, they told us they would be doing this. Of course, you get that phone call and you're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Right? People love Austin. Like, I love Austin, but they can't hold an event for at least 5 years. So we said, okay, we're going to go find another place for TRE. We kind of figured out, okay, what is it we're looking for? What's important in a city? We had that criteria and we went to visit 5 cities and I did 4 in 1 week, back to back to back. And San Antonio was our final stop. And I left knowing it would be San Antonio. So it is big enough for TRE. The convention center is beautiful. I think people will really enjoy it, but it's also small enough that we can take over, right? So that's part of what makes TRE so special is everyone's in one place and you create these serendipitous run-ins and connections. If you go to a city where you're just kind of like a blip and people are spread out and they're not running into each other, you lose some of that connectivity that makes the running event what it is.
Like a New York or a Boston where people can stay on the other side of the river or in Brookline or things like that.
For sure. Like I'll say San Diego. If anyone's ever been to San Diego Convention Center, it is giant. Like we would have been quarter or a fifth of the convention center. So then you have other events going on at the same time. You just don't have... You're not taking over the space and really like I am immersed in the running industry right now.
Okay, so the event is growing, the footprint is growing, running is growing. What's the 30,000 foot view of the growth of Run? And from where you sit, what's fueling it?
There's a lot of conversation right now about the growth of running. And I think it has come from a few different places. The pandemic, I think, was a big part of it, of just people starting to get outside and moving their bodies and discovering running. You're also seeing running and like social activities start to blur. Like for me, running has always been my social activity, but now you have the run clubs and just people finding it, and it's kind of bleeding into culture and social activity. From the running event side, we have seen such growth since 2022. It's like each year the exhibit floor grows by 20% and attendance just keeps growing. Yeah, each year. So for a little bit of context, in 2018, our show floor was 50,000 square feet. So there was 50,000 square feet of brands showing product. In 2025, for the first time ever, we will break 100,000 square feet. So it has doubled since 2018. That's partly because of the growth of running. There's new brands. There's brands who previously weren't in the running space who are now making running product. You're seeing that crossover between outdoor and running. But the core brands who have always been there have more product to show. So it's very exciting. Growth is exciting and everyone wants to talk about it. But our team is also saying like, okay, what do we do with this growth, right? You can't just keep growing and growing and growing. You have to manage it and harness it and be intentional with it or things start falling. So that is what we are focusing on is, okay, yes, there's growth. There's more people here. This is good. This is a great thing. The running industry is bigger than it's ever been. More people are included in that than ever have been. But how do we keep them connected? What's our role with TRE and connecting these people and strengthening it and not just growing for the sake of it?
Well, who is it for, right? I think answering that question helps to establish what happens next. And how do you build for something if you don't know who the audience is, right? There are so many companies that, hey, we're for everyone. It's like, if you're for everyone, you're for no one. Yep. TRE, to my knowledge, began as a way for retailers to connect with shoe brands to place orders for the following year. It's evolved into media frenzy with influencers and athletes and product launches. And things that go on in the city that are totally outside of the bounds of the 100,000 or 50,000 square foot conference space. Like, who should be going to TRE and how are you building for them?
Yeah, so our core audience has been and always will be the retailers. So the running event is for run specialty retailers, outdoor specialty retailers, footwear stores. Like, we want the retailers there who are then buying product from the brands. So our objectives at TRE have grown over the past many years, like with the media, because that's also valuable. Like, brands want to meet with media. So how do we intentionally do both or do all, right? So we are very intentional about that. We get many, many, many inquiries from people wanting to come to the running event that we do not allow to come, right? So some influencers or media who do not qualify, lots of just runners who have heard of TRE and just want to be there because it's an amazing place. So we are strict about who has access to TRE to ensure that brands are meeting with who they need to and want to meet with, which are those retailers. We build an entire education program for retailers. So the running event is 3 days long, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday is a full day of retail focused education. So it's around the running a small business, connecting with that community, trends in marketing and social media, and forward looking. So what should retailers be planning for in terms of the economy? So that keeps us focused on retail, right? And then there's education running throughout the week that Wednesday, Thursday, that is more for everyone, right? So it's also important that brands and retailers come together and learn, how do we manage this growth that we're seeing? How do we get this new runner in our community to shop in a run specialty store rather than, a department store or what have you? So, there's a lot of conversation about that. So that is who TRE is for. But we also believe that we can do many things with the running event, with that being our pillar, right? So driving community and culture and growing the sport of running. So that does include the media and others.
In the others category, I heard from someone last year who said he's heard that investors start coming and they look for tents that are booths that are 10 by 10 and good ideas with very scrappy looking materials and marketing, and they look at it from an investment standpoint. Like, is something like that being considered? I'm going to have a conversation with some VC folks later on this podcast, and I know they're going to do something similar on Second Nature. So I'm curious, like, does angel investing and venture have a space at TRE as well?
So that has come up more and more, I would say, in the past 2 years. So we are receiving interest from VCs, from banks, wanting to come and just get an understanding of, some specific brands of the running industry and the future. So it's not a category that we are targeting at this point, but even without that, we are starting to see it, right? So their qualifications are different. Their badge is different, right? More expensive.
Is there a specific badge?
Yes.
For that?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's a non-exhibiting company. They're not a retailer. They're not exhibiting. So it's a higher price point admission because, at the end of the day, our focus is retail. So, they can come. And I think for some brands that is important that they are there and meeting, but it's not the focus, right? Like, who is it for? And the retail remains our focus.
Is there any appetite for introducing like health tech that plays in the running space and other non-endemics that are like adjacent to running?
Yeah, so we're starting to get some interest from that. So with health tech, the lens we kind of look at brands through are you or do you want to be sold in run specialty? That's typically what we do.
It's pretty binary, yeah.
Exactly. But with some, I'm trying to think. So we've had interest from non-endemic like cars or, car companies or what have you. And I think as TRE continues to grow, we might see a little bit more of that, but it isn't our focus, right? It can enhance the experience if one of those brands wants to come in and do an experiential activity, but we also don't want to lose focus on the objectives of TRE. So it's not something we are going after just because, TRE is also 3 days. There's only so much time for so much. And we want to make sure business is taking place at the end of the day.
It's interesting because like on the media side, I'm obsessed with non-endemics and bringing them into the media space. I've done partnerships with a solar company. We drove $350,000 of revenue. We done a deal with the local Volkswagen dealer and sold 12 cars. So like really strong return on ad spend on things that are adjacent to, I'm working on a deal with Rocket Money for a bunch of podcasts. So it's like a fintech platform that I've been using for years. It's like finding these things that the people who run are using or wanting to use and making that logical connection of like my audience is their audience, right? You look at cycling, this is not a novel concept. You look at golf, tennis, any F1, NASCAR, et cetera. Like Home Depot is on all of the NASCAR vehicles because the people that are watching NASCAR are shopping at Home Depot and doing home renovations and construction kind of a thing. So it's like, how do we match those things? But in a world like yours, it's not mission critical. Maybe at some point it becomes important or maybe not.
I know. And, we talked about this, and I think there's a world in the future where this takes place. But it's, you see non-endemic sponsor races all the time, of course, right? Because they are reaching runners. Our, TRE is the business side of running.
Right. It's not a consumer show. Yeah.
So they're some of the most influential people to those runners. They're not reaching them directly through. So it's just a little bit of a different sponsorship or sale of, who you are reaching at TRE.
So in more of an endemic either or, how do you think about road versus trail?
We think about we talk to brands, okay, what's your product? Who are you trying to reach? Ultimately, what I just said about, are you sold in run specialty? Do you want to be, that applies for road or trail. So of course we've seen growth in trail, and there's some fun new brands coming out in that world. And I think it's just elevated the industry, but everyone's kind of treated the same.
What about challenger versus established brands? Is there more support provided to challenger brands? Is more the education provided to challenger brands?
So we try to, the running event, so one thing we do for emerging brands, smaller brands, you have all the established brands at TRE, is placement on the floor, right? So you want to be sure that these smaller brands are found or they're seen. So we spread out the more established brands all like on the side of the floor. So you'll have Brooks and Hoka in the very back, right? You'll have a brand over to the
because
left.
People will go to them.
Exactly. They'll go to them. So they'll pass by these less established brands that maybe these retailers wouldn't have come across otherwise. So, that's one thing, that we really do to just help these smaller brands. We also have numerous opportunities for telling your story or getting your brand out there. And that's really important. Like I said, there's 360 brands on the show floor. So we give many opportunities for these brands to get their brand in front of retailers in advance or on site at TRE with varying price points, and making sure that these smaller brands have that opportunity to be noticed and be seen and tell their story.
What sort of opportunity exists for brands that are not yet ready to demo or have a booth, but like want to attend? Is there room for them? And how do you create a pipeline of maybe you've not launched yet, or maybe you're too small to afford, but you're looking at 2026 and 2027 for when you plan to be live and ready to roll?
Great question. And it's a balance, and we would handle each of these on a case-by-case basis. We do get a lot of interest from brands who don't want to exhibit, but they just want to come. And, we have to police that pretty strictly, because out of protection for those brands who have paid to be there and show their product and meet with retailers. So in some cases, if a brand is not exhibiting, but they want to come, they can buy this non-exhibiting company badge. That's pretty expensive. It would make more sense for them pretty much to just exhibit, which is by design. In the case that it's a smaller brand, that it's new, they're just launching, we do guest badges. So I would talk to them and they could come and someone from our team would meet them and walk them around the floor, show them the space, answer their questions. What is this space like? What is that? And make sure then that they are set up for future years and success, right? They not just coming and like walking around the floor, not getting the information that they need to make an informed decision about exhibiting in the future.
How do brands attending make it a success? Like, what's your formula? What's your guidance? I'm sure you've talked to a lot of brands who have said that, yeah, that was freaking awesome. I'm so glad I went. I wasn't thinking about doing it. Like, what are they doing right?
So, I think a brand will say they had a successful show if they met with the retailers that they wanted to. Right. So they had the conversation. Many times you're trying to reach a retailer, you're sending them an email or whatever, and you're not getting a response. And finally you meet them in person. So it is those connections. And I would say what those brands do to separate themselves from everyone else is the effort in advance. We have an event guide and they'll have an ad in there with their booth number and what their product is, right? Especially if they're a brand new brand or product, like a retailer won't even know what they are. So they do the work in advance. They also reach out to retailers and invite them, try to set up meetings. TRE can be very busy. We try to get people to walk the floor, walk every
like 14 meetings already.
You do. Right.
Shout out to the PR companies that are on top of things in September.
No, that's amazing. I love to hear that though, right? Because you're now going to go see those brands where, maybe a couple of them you wouldn't have if they didn't set up that appointment. So I think the pre-event work is really important. And we try to help as much as we can and give opportunity to get in front of the retailers. But it does require that. I'll also say this, I'll walk every aisle. I try to talk to as many people as I can. And there's a difference, if you're in your booth, to not just be like sitting at a table, like
on your phone. Yeah.
It's one of my biggest pet peeves. Like,
you paid all this money to be there. Don't blow it.
Yeah. We'll sometimes receive a complaint, like, oh, I didn't meet anyone. And, I'm like, I went by your booth. People aren't going to be banging on your door to talk, right? Stand up, stand in the front of your booth, invite people in, give them a reason to come there. Yeah. That's kind of what I think differentiates people who find success and who don't.
Hi, friends. Are you enjoying this episode? That's great. Would you do us a favor? Would you head on over to Apple and leave us a 5-star rating and review? This is a new show, and we can't wait to continue to grow this new platform. Your reviews help more people find this podcast. Thank you in advance. So I went in 2019. I went in 23 and 24, and I'm going back in 25. 2019, it was mostly just for entertainment's sake. I had just launched a podcast at the time. I don't even think I entered the expo. I definitely did not enter the expo floor because I didn't have a badge.
Oh, wow.
And then you guys started giving me badges in 23 and 24. And it's been like wildly successful for me. I've met brands. I've made great relationships, built great relationships with brands. Like, what is the intention around media influencers and professional athletes at the event? Like, how should brands be using these types of people? And then I know there are a lot of athletes listening to this and a lot of people who are in media that listen to this. Like, what should they be doing to ensure a great time?
Yeah, well, I think if a media is attending, you can also do what we were just saying. So you're getting reached out to by brands, but you can also reach out to brands and set up appointments, right? And I would encourage you to do so because it gets busy. Like, have a plan going into those 2 days. Know how you're going to spend the time, where you're going to be. There's many different networking events to go to just be at. And, I always say you never know like who you're going to be behind in line for a drink, at a party. And, it could be the president of Brooks, right? Like, they're all in the room. So be everywhere, be there. I would say we want to be very intentional with the media presence at TRE. We want to make sure it is valuable for both the media and for the brands. And I think now TRE, we've done that. Like, I think there is an understanding. Brands now know that they can expect media, whereas even a few years ago, they wouldn't have. So now they're bringing those teams to meet with the media. But yeah, be intentional, set up the time, plan your time. And I love what you just said too, Jonathan. I always ask, like, especially if it was someone's first time at TRE or what have you, but even the ones who have been every single year, I'm like, what was good for you? Why was it great? Or why will you come back in the future? And the answer is almost always because of the people that I met, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, retailers are there to do business and brands want to meet with these retailers and, place orders. And retailers want to meet each other and talk about challenges that they're facing and share best practices and say, like, you too, like, have you been struggling with this? And I'm sure as media, right? Like, you all get together and say, like, have you ever dealt with this before? How did you get through that? You just get to meet with your community at TRE. So like take advantage of that time.
Yeah, it's one of the most exciting things, right? So many people work remotely, or people who are individual athletes or influencers or creators, like they often don't have coworkers. And so they're spending all that time solo. And so TRE is a great way to congregate. It's a great way to let loose a little bit and see people that, you see on the circuit of events and races. You mentioned Brooks. I have to ask, the Brooks party. I know a bit about the history of it. Will the Brooks party be happening in San Antonio?
It will. So good timing. I literally got off with Brooks right before this. So yeah, they will have their party on Thursday night like they typically have. And
will Des Linden be crowd surfing?
That makes me so nervous. Anytime she does that, I'm like, get down. Like, can you get down? I can't guarantee it, but I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, like, so much will be new in San Antonio, new space, new just everything with the venue. We are talking about how it'll be comforting for some things to be the same, right? And like the Brooks party, it'll be in a new place, but everyone will know it's taking place and all meet for that final night.
That is a relief. That party is too fun. I'll just leave it at that.
It is I would say it might be my favorite night of the year. Like, I feel pretty strongly about that, right? As you can imagine too, like, I love TRE. I work on it all year round. But, like 12 weeks out, we are in like grind, serious stress mode at times. And the Brooks party, and it's through, on-site time, like we're go, go, go when you're at TRE. But Thursday night, Brooks party, it's over.
Finish line.
We are done. And like, you can just see it in like me and my team's like faces and just like, yeah, we just enjoy. We get to just be a part of it and enjoy. And it's like my favorite night.
It's funny because it's like a lot of people who don't drink a lot, drinking a lot.
I know. Sometimes I'm like, can everyone calm down? Like, have fun. But yeah. The crowd surfing.
The flights the next morning, it's like these people went to war, like a bunch of banged up people.
Okay, well, fun fact. Okay, so your 2019 was your first year. I think we had changed this by then, but TRE used to be on Friday also. So there would be trade show hours on Friday morning.
Yikes.
And Brooks still did their party on Thursday night. So the people you see at the airport, we used to see on the trade show floor the next day. Like sunglasses on, like just rolling in like an hour late. So, yeah.
I went to the party in 2019. That was my first experience with it. And yeah, I went again this past year. Yeah, what a good time. It's just like, it's a blast. And what is that? The Y'all Out Boys?
Yeah.
That's the name of the band?
Yeah, so good.
Just great.
And, I was talking with Brooks about this, and I think they're the only one. But I think what makes the Brooks party so special is they invite everyone. So it's other brands, like other brands also come, and it's just a way of bringing everyone together and having fun, which is important, as an industry.
Right. This whole sport is fun. Like
Exactly.
we're supposed to be doing something that's fun.
Yeah.
And so it's a good way to let loose, I guess. Why does Brooks do it on a more serious note, right? They're probably spending a ton of money. So for those who haven't been, it's like an open bar from, 8 p.m. until 2 a.m., something like that. I think I saw 2 a.m. on my watch last year. It's like the latest I've been out in like a decade.
Yep.
And I don't know, I had like 7 beers. And if everyone is, it's like really expensive. So what are they getting out of it? Why are they doing it on a more serious note?
I think only they can say it for sure. I think even just the fact we've been talking about the Brooks Party for 3 minutes, right? Like everyone talks about it, like even other brands, right? And so I think it shows their leadership in the industry and that they don't just invite a certain group or VIPs. They are bringing the entire industry together and welcoming and being that leader that Brooks is. That would be my take on it.
Yeah, brand marketing and good storytelling. And like you said, we've now been talking about it for 4 minutes. And I have, like, Puma is a partner of mine. And I was there with the whole Puma team also.
You're right. Can I tell a fun story about a Brooks Party?
Please.
So this was 2021 or 2022. Gosh. A woman I work with earlier in the week, she was like, oh, I'm looking to meet someone, like, in the running event, there's a lot of people. Like, oh, like I'll keep my eye out. I'll see, if I can introduce you to anyone. So I introduced her to someone at the Brooks Party. I believe it was 2021. And I just went to their wedding a couple months ago. Yep. So
incredible.
The Brooks Party is good for many things. It brings people together.
Brooks should have paid for it. Should have paid for the wedding.
I know, right? We should have had. He works at a different brand, so maybe not. But yeah, I just love it. It's just connecting people, which is one of my favorite things.
That's awesome. Okay, so what trends are you seeing that people should expect to see at TRE this year, whether it's with retailers, brands, media? Like, what are you stoked about to see coming in San Antonio?
I'm also curious of your thoughts and trends that you're seeing, but we've already touched on one, and I think it's like the big one is the growth, right? So what is this growth? Where is it coming from? How do we hold on to it? How do we keep this, right? So I think that's a big one, is this new runner. Is who are they? How can we reach them? How do we keep them in the sport of running for their full lives and not just have it be, I've heard people use the term like running is having a moment. And it's one of my least favorite things because I'm like, moment implies that it will end. Yeah. And we want this to be a movement, right? We want this to be, so how do we invite these runners in and really be a part of this community and part of the industry and keep them in the sport of running? So I think that's the biggest one for me. I think you'll see TRE, this trend of performance and lifestyle coming together. So more lifestyle type brands who want to sell to the runner. So, there's some performance lifestyle and some just lifestyle type brand.
Like what, as an example?
You see like Satisfy and Bandit and Soar and some of these Pruzan and like these new apparel brands coming in. And these are lifestyle and performance type brands, right?
In a premium price point. At a premium, for sure.
For sure. Yes. I'm trying to think too, I hate listing brands because I inevitably
forget someone. Yeah.
Yeah. But
we could have AI enhance it in post-production.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Dylan will help.
But footwear brands, I think similar. Like you're going to see more lifestyle, like people are wearing running shoes as like lifestyle now. And you're going to see that bleeding into TRE. Whereas even 5 years ago, you would not have seen that, right? So it's a fun time to be in the industry. I think it's like there's new and exciting product coming out. So apparel, footwear, like obviously technology is huge. You're going to see some advances in that. But yeah, I mean, across the board, it's growth and lifestyle. That would be my answer.
I've also seen a lot of vertical integration. So brands looking to sell more to their existing audience and enhance, like go deeper with the same type of person instead of try and reach more. We saw what Tracksmith did with their trail launch, which I still think was like, I can't believe the positioning. And I wish it were more along the lines of like, if you're trail curious, we're for you, versus like claiming that they're a very serious trail brand, which I don't think any serious trail runner took them seriously on, which is why I think they should have gone after like road runners who are trail curious, right? You already trust the brand. You know, if you buy their stuff that helps you run very fast, why not try and go off-road with similar gear too? They made a pair of off-road shorts a couple of years ago that were some of the best shorts I've ever worn until Jonji came along with the half tights that I'm loving lately. But I'm seeing a lot of this, and I'm seeing a lot of brands just deciding like, we're going to go head to toe and now include shoes. And so it's fascinating to watch all these brands get into footwear. Like Roll Recovery just released a sandal recently, or a year ago or something like that, as a recovery product. Hyperice is going deep on footwear with their collaboration with Nike instead of just selling recovery and massage tools. So to me, that's the interesting part. And you can trust a brand until you lose trust in the brand. And so I think it's a tough thing to do if you're not confident you can do it right, which is why I was so vocal about, again, how Tracksmith, in my opinion, botched it. And really, but maybe their sales are great. I don't know. I don't know their numbers. I can't imagine that like trail runners are buying Tracksmith trail gear. Again, I don't know why I'm like so bothered by this one. I brought it up a few times on the podcast, but
I think it's a really interesting observation by you. And I think I understand why brands do it. I also, I think would agree it's risky. It's tough to do well. So it has to be done really well. I understand again, like why Tracksmith did it, right? Because I think we're seeing people now, they identify not just as like, oh, I'm just like a road runner, right? They are many things, right? So they go for a run in New York City, then they go and they hike a mountain, and then they want something to wear at brunch, right? So they're trying to like cater to these like multi-dimensional consumers.
Yeah, makes sense. What are you seeing that's most exciting in the space? Unless you've already covered that in answering the last question.
I kind of said it, but I think when I think about the running industry, what gets me excited is we are seeing all of these new runners come in and they're finding this sport. And how cool is that, right? I want any like, oh, they're not a runner, or elitism is like out. It's like gone.
Yeah.
How do we invite these people in and to be a part of this life-changing thing that running and movement are? I think it is so exciting to be a part of and to play a part in it, and inviting these people in, and, these brands creating products for these people. And, I've seen it in my own life, just with people who never ran growing up, or like now I know so many people who are finding it like at my age. And it's like, how amazing is that? So how can we continue? How can we be a part of continuing that? That's really exciting for me.
I love it. It's like a groundswell versus a moment, in my opinion.
Ooh, groundswell. That's a much better word. I might adopt that.
Go for it. Any final words you want to share with people who are attending TRE this year?
My big thing, I kind of said it earlier, but I'll say it again, is be everywhere you can be. Take advantage of what we have there, what we've built there. Go to the opening night party. It is going to be amazing. It's outside. It's in this new, in a new venue,
Cool.
Obviously. It's like, go and be a part of it. You never know who you're going to meet or run into. There's runs in the morning. Just go and really be there and make a plan in advance. I think sometimes people roll their eyes when I tell them that. But, if you've experienced it, it's easy to kind of like let things slip by, or I meant to go to that, or I meant to meet this person, or so make a plan and have fun and enjoy it. Like I've said, we're in like the stress time, our team, right? But we had a team meeting today and it was like, let's not lose sight of the fun of this, right? This is fun. Let's have fun doing it. Let's make it fun. Let's make sure that people are leaving having accomplished their goals and having had fun.
And in the spirit of doing everything and being everywhere, there's enough sports nutrition to fuel that ability with caffeine, ketones, and carbohydrates. So
absolutely,
pick up the samples, take the things. I learned about ketones at TRE 2 years ago, I think. And I was like, this is incredible. I've met brands that I now advise at TRE. It's been a really incredible growth opportunity for me. So I appreciate everything you guys do to make that all possible and demonstrate all these new products and shoes and all that kind of stuff. And see you in San Antonio. We'll see you in Durango first, but then San Antonio.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jonathan. This was great and looking forward to it.
Sounds good. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Long Run Labs. If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's building something of their own. We'll be back next Tuesday with more stories at the intersection of endurance and entrepreneurship from the people shaping the outdoor industry in ways big and small. Until then, keep showing up, keep asking questions, and we'll see you out there. This show is produced by Dylan Delaney of Delaney Video LLC, with musical composition by Brian Walters of Single Track Sound, and managed overall by Emily Holland of Wild Poppy Creative.